that before I would trust someone with and become vulnerable with them, there needs to be a discussion, and we need to be playing by the same rules because it is
Hmm.
not typical in our work lives, for example, or in if we were in school to have a level of trust that someone won't take what you say and use it against you.
Hmm.
And so we're often override our the way we would be like you and I would be in having a discussion with talking to someone in the grocery store or talking to someone in a different situation. I didn't start it, but someone on the bike riding trail started up a discussion with me when he saw me. He was a runner and I was a rider on my tricycle. And he saw me cranking up one of the uphill into one of the underpasses where I have to go all the way down to low gear. And by the time I get to the very top of the hill, I'm really riding slowly and I'm really pumping hard. And he's making noise and he's moving his hands, looking down at me, and I couldn't tell what the heck's going on. So I go up and I took because I listen to music or books, and I took the earbuds out of my ears, and he said, What? He says, I'm applauding you. And I said, What? He said, Yeah, I've run up that hill. That's a tough hill. And
Hmm.
then he said to me, I just retired and I run 3 days a week and I don't have any friends to run with or anything. So we talked just for a few minutes about that. And then I said, Well, let's meet for coffee. If you want to share phone numbers and texts, we'll meet for coffee one morning and we'll talk further. And so I went and we began having discussions off and on, and mainly the discussions were just to get to know each other.
Hmm.
But I needed to know more about him, and at the third meeting, the discussion was just not valuable. We weren't talking about politics, and we'd agreed at the beginning at the first meetings that we weren't going to talk about religion or politics. And yet we soon found out we were different religions and we could respect that. But when the third meeting was just a chit chat meeting and we went for coffee and we just sat there and talked about nothing of significance in our lives, I asked him uh, at the next meeting if he minded if he and I tried to form important questions that we could talk about at our meetings instead of just sitting down and having a general get to know each other. And he said that was fine. So at the next meeting, I came with an open-ended question that would start to develop some trust between us. And I asked one question, and each of us answered the question, and we talked for the full hour about something personal, something important in our
Hmm.
lives. And I had to broach the issue of whether or not he was an ardent Trump supporter because I wasn't going to spend more time developing a friendship with someone who was. I'm willing to talk to someone, but about it and to hold my breath, but I'm not going to develop a lot of my time developing a friend who, at this moment in time, would still say, "Yeah, he's a good guy. Let me tell you why I
Yeah.
voted for him." I just wouldn't do it, and I wasn't going to spend more time going and having coffee and saying, "What'd you do last week?" And oh, blah 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 blah. So I learned enough from our church and our men's groups that that's not what I want from a friendship, and that's not how I would develop trust in the way that you discussed a few minutes ago. So I agree with you. Before you develop that trust, you have to go through a process of finding out that you can trust someone and that it's not going to come back to bite you. It's why Facebook is such a tough area to negotiate because if you use it at all, I don't know if you use it. Do you use Facebook at all?
Um, Sometimes I peek through my fingers at it. I don't really use it. I like peek and see what other people are up to, but I don't put anything on there, you know?
I use it a lot because my out-of-town relatives use it. And so
Mhm.
I know more about my relatives' lives. And I had to
Test,
befriend one of
test.
my,
Yep.
I had to,
Hey,
all right, we're ready
we've
to
got
go.
So
we got someone saying
here's your
test test.
match and the
So.
flame.
Yeah, that must be Brian or someone testing the mic. So in any event, I don't trust everybody on Facebook by a long shot. And yet, how do you, when the prompt every day says, what's important to you today? How do you say, well, they just gassed people in my hometown and I'm really angry about it.
So this is
And
sitting
you know,
over
you
here.
don't
I'm telling
trust
you about
Facebook to do
efforts.
that, but I did. I had to, for the benefit of my
Okay, we're going to
relatives.
get started, folks. We're going to start with some opening words and a chalice lighting. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. My name is David Hinkle, and this past Thursday evening, Gina, your board president, Joe, your board treasurer and finance chair, met with Carolyn Briggs, Jeanette Daniel Whitney, and myself to discuss how we wanted to involve all of you in dealing with our budget deficit. I'm going to turn it over to Joe.
Thank you, David. Just over a month ago, we had our annual meeting, and we discovered we have a problem with our finances. This problem is our problem and ours alone to solve. And our intention with these listening circles is to include as many people as possible in the congregation in getting them to provide input as to how we might solve this problem. These meetings are being designed to allow the congregation to provide input as to where we need to go, how we envision our church community, its future, and then ultimately how we will pay for it. During these sessions, well, before I say that, no minister is going to solve these problems. A new minister coming in sometime in the near future, they will not be equipped to solve these problems. These are our problems, and we will solve them ourselves. And I fully believe we will. During these sessions, we'll not be talking about numbers yet. The initial discussions, we expect to have input as to what do you value as a community? And once we get a clear picture of what those values are, then we can properly apply the financial solutions, which we will discuss at the very end. There is a process that we're going to introduce to structure the meetings so that everyone has a chance to provide input and discuss the input provided. We will be using the facilitators David Henkel, Carolyn Briggs, Janet Daniel Whitney as part of that process. What I'd like to do now is bring up Jeanette to talk about the process that she intends to use for these sessions. Jeanette? Of course.
Okay.
The big we.
That's right. Oh, I realize. You need to be on microphone. It would be nice to be on microphone. It's coming up. It's coming up. Oh, good. Okay. I have to be so that the people who are on Zoom can hear. Okay. Well, I will be moving around, but I will do my best. And just to share with you, this is kind of exciting, and I want you to know I cleared this. We are not bankrupt, but we are eating away at our principal. And this is in order to maintain where we are right now. And because we aspire to be democratic and not just say, okay, you fix it up there and then tell us what you're going to do and we'll let you know whether we like it or not. We're going to try and use a slightly different process. a combination of listening circles and consent decision-making. Consent is not consensus. It is something where you try to find the best solution that everybody can live with, not the perfect solution. And you revisit it with then a specific length of time and see, is this doing what we hope it will do? And that's where we're going to be going with this in the long run. But we're going to start by just what I call investigating the why question and listening to each other to discover what are our commonalities, our differences, and our dreams for the future. And I've got the process outlined below. But I want to mention one other thing before I draw on here. And that is that we understand that some of you have been thinking about this for a long time. Some of you have concrete solutions that you know we must use, burning holes in your brain. And you want them out there and you want them implemented yesterday. Well, they will be looked at seriously in the long run. But what will be, we've got a box in there that says the what to do next box. So please write down those specific things. I think we should have 2 ministers. I think we should have no RE, whatever you, I'm just doing wild things. I'm not saying anything that I think. But just put them in there, what you think will help to solve this problem. And it's not a substitute for being part of the listening circles. It is a way to collect your ideas, your specific ideas, and hold them while we are listening to each other to find out what we really have in common, what we really want our church to have now and in the future. So, how are we going to do our listening circles? And now, I know. I'm gonna give her another one. Hang on. You know what?
Want me to hold it for you?
Yeah. Would you be my mic stand, please?
Can you use this? Sure.
If you can hang it around my neck, yeah.
Give this back to you, Jim.
I don't know.
It's gonna be a conversation with you and them. They may have questions.
That's right. They're maybe, okay. So,
Is this on yet?
I do have a teacher voice that I can use. I know,
Test,
I
test.
know, because we need it for that, but anyway. Okay. This is an introductory meeting. We're going to have 3 meetings where we come together and actually form listening circles and do the process. And the process looks like this. Let's say in meeting number on the 27th, all these people, all of you come. And we want to have groups that are between 5 and 9 people. So we look at, did we have 15 people? Well, we count off 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 3 groups. We don't know yet, but that's how we will form 3 separate groups that will be each one a listening circle so that you don't have to listen to everybody and fall asleep when the last person speaks. and this will also, and then there will be a facilitator, which will be in each group, one of us, who will be will take notes up here on the board, and we will designate somebody by sortion, which means pick a card. You get to be the timekeeper. And if you don't like it, you can always say, I don't want to be a timekeeper, and then we pick somebody else. But there'll be timekeepers so that people know they have a certain length of time. And beginning with this, there are going to be several questions. Each one will be considered separately. So in the first round, each person shares their response to the question under consideration, while the rest of us listen to try and understand what they are saying. In the second round, we can go around, and if you have a question about what this person said, You can ask a question for clarification. You're really encouraged not to say, I think that's a terrible idea, that's a wonderful idea, but rather, could you explain to me how that would work? What did you mean when you used the word such and such? For clarification. Thank you. You are, okay. And then we have a third round, and notes are also being taken all the time so that we know everything that's being said, the meat of the discussion. The third round, each of you will have an opportunity to share any further thoughts about the question at hand. And, you know, these are my ideas of questions, but we'll be formulating them over the next week or two. Like, what do you especially enjoy, admire, or love about our church community? Why have you even chosen to be part of this church? What do you especially cherish about our church community? What would it really hurt to lose, either in the short run or the long run? What are your dreams for our church community going forward? It might be questions like that, so that we know why we want to spend the money. What for do we want to spend the money? You know, and then, yes, my notes. At this point, we will have had the 3 rounds. The note taker will be writing summaries of what each person shares, and then we all come back together. And this is available 3 times. So we hopefully will have we'll have at least 6 listening circles, maybe 8 or 10 or 15 or 25. You can dream on. And we'll choose these out of this using, again, pick a card. We're going to choose 2 people to be representatives to the group that begins to focus on more concrete strategies. This will be the congregational strategizing group, I suppose you could call it. And they will, each group, and if you pull the ace or the whatever it is, and you really know you just don't want to deal with this, and you will not come to the meetings anyway if you say yes, you can say, this is not for me, I'm not going to do it. But if you're willing to take it on for a couple extra meetings and think about it in detail, you will have a companion from your group, and you will have all the other people from the other groups. And this group will come together and begin to look at what is in the, what did I call it? The what are we going to do? No, what to do next box. We will pull everything out of it, and it's in Berg Hall. You can write in there all those things that you may have another idea after the listening circles. Oh, I know what we can do. And you will add that, and all of those will be in there. They'll be looked at, sorted through, and out of that, we will use the consent decision-making process to come up with a proposal for how we can deal with our current crisis. And it is a crisis, because if the money keeps going away, eventually, so will we. Yeah, so will we. And it's not like, the money for this kind of an institution is kind of like it's food. We could starve it to death, or we can find ways to put it on a diet for a while, or we can fully fund it and see if it gets really fat and jolly. Okay, and that's so, yes, add something.
We talked in our meeting about finding a way to include folks on Zoom as well. That's important, that we try to involve as many people, even if you can't be here physically.
Yes, so just remember that box out there is not a substitution for being part of the listening circles. And if you know people who didn't come today to find out about this, talk to them, encourage them to at least come to one listening circle. They can always choose not to be the one chosen if they pull the wrong card, but we hope they would also choose to be part of the larger group. And finally, when we have a proposal that everybody in that group can live with, that's the thing about consent. It's not, this is my favorite, it won. It's not a win-lose proposition. It's what we think we can live with right now and give a good try to and see if it works. And once that happens, we will reveal the proposal to the whole congregation, or that group will. And I doubt if I'd be in it because I've been doing other things. But it will be, and to the board. It will be submitted to the board for consideration. So that's the process. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Clarification.
So I was a little confused on the process. I just want to summarize what I heard
Yes,
and then
great.
ask a question. So the circles will happen at the meetings after services for the next few weeks.
Yeah,
Add-
not this Sunday, but the next 3 following ones, yes.
At each of those meetings, first of all, I'm curious, how long are you expecting the meeting to last?
Well, we're hoping we can do it within an hour because people aren't going to get to talk for 15 minutes each.
Okay.
It's going to be, so hopefully you meditated on some of this and maybe we'll have a little meditation first to get you into what you really want to say so that you don't wander around looking for it. And
Okay,
You
so
know.
the idea is that we're going to answer about 3 questions, document the responses, somehow they're summarized at the end. The next week, another group of listening circles will happen and answer the same questions.
exactly.
And then at some point, these 2 people that are selected from each group will come together in separate meetings to look at everything and try to condense it down. Is that what I'm hearing?
And
Process?
into a concrete proposals of how do we deal with the situation we're in. And they can call in our financial experts to consult with when they are doing that. If they say, well, we'd like to know more about how this works in the congregation. We want to know what this is. Call in somebody who really knows so they can consult with them.
And you probably have already thought about this, but do we know how many meetings those 2 people are going to be asked to participate
Well,
in and
we-
when they will be?
We hope that it will be 2. And, we have not chosen dates for it, but it will be soon after. We're not going to put it off for 3 months or something like that.
I had one other clarification, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, those are great.
Also stay tuned, between Sundays. Gina posted something about these updates, and we'll try to keep that going as well. And we've got a sign-up list here with Carolyn, if you want
So
to
I
start
do
doing
have
that.
one other question. Not that I think this is going to happen, but is there going to be some way to prevent people from stuffing the ballot, so to speak, and dropping in 3 or 4 times their comments about how they can't live without the music director, just to make sure that there's enough people that express that? I mean,
Well-
it's,
I would encourage people to sign what they put in there in case the people who read it don't even understand what it says and want clarification. Yeah, I wouldn't say you must sign it. If you have to be anonymous, I suppose you could be. But be willing to stand behind your ideas and say, yeah, I'll talk it over with anybody.
I wasn't going to suggest that, but that's where I was leaning. Thank you. Right.
I know, you'd like to stuff the ballot box too.
Yeah, okay, so I do have a question. There are going to be, as you described, 3 questions that have yet to be determined what they are.
Yeah.
Okay, when you know what those are, can you send those out to the congregation so that we can begin to ponder these and be
Sure.
able to come prepared for those listening circles?
Absolutely, as
Not
far
have
as
it
I'm
be-
concerned, and we're all nodding yes, so
Yeah.
they'll have to tie us down, keep us
Tie-
from
tie you
sending it
down.
out.
And I do appreciate the Zoom opportunity that people are going to have, because I certainly have a person at home that may or may not participate in that. But the way you described it, that was an opt-in, if you will, kind of an opportunity, as opposed to your group, if you will, reaching out to these folks that generally aren't here, that are housebound in some way, and yet love this congregation as much as everyone who's present right at the moment. So there's going to be an actual outreach to those folks to be inclusive.
Great idea.
One of the things we intend to do is also layer a survey on top of this. So we may take those 3 questions and put them into a survey form, or more, put them into a survey format and send them out so that folks who can't be here can at least provide some input in the form of a survey response.
Yeah, and I would encourage all of you who are here today and to talk to the people that you know who are out there and who didn't come in and say, sign up for a circle. It's only 1 hour out of one of those circles. Sign up for it. Come on, be part of this. Be part of what makes the heart of our church beat and help to make it happen. Yes.
I have a quick question. I was over there, so are we only allowed to attend one circle? Okay.
You could come to all three, yeah.
And should we just put our ideas into one, or can we, that's
Oh,
stuffing the ballot.
the
so-
idea box of what to do next, you can have each one, I don't care how you put them, I don't think anybody does, write one on each different piece of paper or put it all in one document.
The other thing. Oh, you got a mic. So the other thing with this is not simply going to be a vote, okay? It's not like how many want this and how many want that. So I wouldn't worry too much about the ballot stuffing. And I think we could identify, handwriting and stuff like that. And if we had like 45 anonymous results of the same thing, yeah, we can kind of figure that out. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just feel free to say, and if you want to ask me about this, here's my name and here's my email or something like that at the bottom, but only if you want to do that,
There will be a Between Sundays message that's going to go out with my email address on it. And you can send me any questions you may have, or any ideas that you may want to supply. So look for that in the next week or two. That's going to come out, so that I can also pull that information in and add it to the hopper.
yeah, and this, if people agree with this after we've looked at it in our committee and the mistakes have been found, we will maybe send this out so you can read it again and see what it's all about. And it might be quite an exciting process. We never know until we've done it. Any
more
other questions? Yeah.
It's a very small question. The people who attend only on Zoom, and I'm thinking of, for example, Tessa Weeks these days, she will be able to sign up through an email that you send out. Is that right? Yeah? I mean,
We should add the sign-up sheet,
you know,
as well.
for the people on Zoom who aren't here, who can't sign their names on a sheet, yeah. So there's got to be some method for them to sign up, that's all.
Jan, I think the way to solve that problem too might be to have them email me. When I send an email out from the church that has my email address, have them just respond to me and say, I want to be on this Sunday or that Sunday. And then I can accumulate that information and provide it. I think that'll be helpful.
Okay. Then I am done with my part.
Are there any questions on Zoom, Brian? Hearing none.
In the meantime, Carolyn made those sign-up sheets, and please, they will be available in Berg Hall, right next to the what to do next suggestion box. And also, we might be walking around, putting them under people and saying, would you please sign up?
There are about 6 of them moving through the room at the time. So as you finish, just please try to pass them on. And when this is over, when we conclude today, I'll gather those up and hang around for a little bit for other people to sign. And Sylvia, you had a question? Pardon? Oh, these meetings will start at 11:20. Following Sunday service, give you a little chance to go into Berg Hall, have a little bit of refreshment, say hello to a couple of people, come on in. We'll endeavor to start them at 11:20 and complete it within about an hour. Yes, Ruth?
Mike?
This is just for the auction team. Reminder, the auction team has a meeting next Sunday right after church. So don't sign up for that listening circle.
There isn't,
They're not meeting
no
next
meeting
week?
on the
Oh,
20th.
never mind.
No meeting on the 20th. We meet July 27th, July 27th, August 3rd, August 10th. And then the group that is doing the synthesizing will meet probably in the couple weeks following that.
If, I'm not sure what weekend is going to be good for me right now, being the summer and a lot of things are happening. Can I just come next week,
Yes.
say, and say, hey, get me in a
Yes.
group?
Yes, yes. The reason for the sign-up actually is mostly for us, so that we know whether we're to expect 10 people or 60 people, and plan accordingly. You can come to all three if you want. I wouldn't do that, but you can do that. And if you sign up for one today and then realize that's just not going to work for you, don't worry about it, just come to one of the others.
Carolyn, we do have a couple of comments in the chat from Aaron Merrill. First
Okay.
one says, I recommend announcing how we're going to get Zoom people into the meeting, whether it's scooping us in like today or something else. And then Aaron's next comment was, I also,
Before you go there, Brian,
Uh-huh.
her first comment is how we're going to do what?
how to
Oh,
get
set up Zoom
Zoom
meetings.
people into
I
the
have
meeting.
no clue.
Well, we've been
I don't
doing-
do Zoom very well, so I'm assuming we're going to ask Brian Fortune to help us put that together. And then whoever is on the Zoom, I think what we're going to do is have one person who may be a facilitator.
Right.
A facilitator will be with that Zoom group, and we'll have a laptop, and we'll do everything.
And since I'm pretty familiar with Zoom, I can handle the facilitation of that group.
We're going to let Joe do that.
And so it'll just be like we're doing today, after it'll stay in the same Zoom meeting.
Yes.
As was the service.
Yes, so
Got
all
it.
the Zoomers will be together.
Great. And then Aaron's second comment was also, just to clarify, do you have to sign up ahead of time?
No,
What happens if you get drop-ins?
no. If you want to drop in is welcome. Drop-ins are welcome. It's fine. It's just trying to give us a little bit of idea for planning purposes. And we know that it will change from week to week, probably, because our lives are changing all the time.
Thank you.
It's also to help you with your planning purposes. So you will look at your calendar and figure out what Sunday you might not have a conflict.
Yes.
Mike,
Oh, Mike for Joyce.
we have an unreliable mic holder.
I was just checking the Zoom session, and we get about 4 or 5 people in the Zoom sessions. That would probably be one group, I think.
Okay, Joyce has a question.
Thanks. I wasn't here at the first, so I'm a little bit lost. They're all going to happen here at the church, right?
Right in this room.
Okay. So the Zoom would be if people who don't come.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have sign-up sheets that are available for those who have not yet signed up and wish to do so. Cappy?
I just have a comment. Some of you have new email addresses that are not in the directory, that are wrong in the directory. So take time to change them and your phone numbers, please.
Good idea.
Any other questions? Yes, Terry?
Very simple. When we complete this process, is there any ideas what after the sessions are over, what the process might be like?
Oh, I think,
Jeanette made a comment that I think is going to be very helpful. She has a document that'll have all this written down, that you don't have to keep it in your head. So we're going to put that in between Sundays as an attachment. So that'll help, so you can refer back to it and say, how the heck does this work?
Yeah, and I've done workshops on it in the past, and lo and behold, I still have my materials. So I can also present it that way for the people who are interested.
All righty then. Are there, if there are no other questions, what are our closing comments? Oh, Joe, that's your part in this one. Okay. I do want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for staying, and for being brave enough to go through this process with us. Those of us who are going to be facilitators feel very confident that this is going to be a wonderful process that gets everybody, to the extent that you participate, and we have your ideas, your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, and we can synthesize those in a document that gets shared with everyone and goes to the board and comes back to us as in the congregation. Change may be incremental. Yes, and so the process for this, after the meeting on the 10th, and then the I'm calling them synthesizing meetings, because I kind of like that. And it'll go to the board, and sometime this fall, which is not that far off, we will have a planned strategy, a proposal. I was going to say a planned strategy, a proposal. And congregation will take action on that, and we will try it out and check back, see how it's going, and adjust as necessary. So that's all I have to say.
You couldn't have ended this meeting any better. Seriously. I just really, from my position, I really want to tell you that I'm so thankful for the group that's here today to help solve this problem. For a long time, I felt like I had to solve the problem, okay? And I feel really good right now about the involvement of everybody here, and especially my mates up here who are part of the team. I really do appreciate that. So thank you all for coming, and I look forward to seeing you in the meetings. Oh, okay.
And we're going to extinguish our chalice.